It's time to talk about Rashod Bateman for this week. My inbox has been blowing up. What should I do? I'm in the playoffs. I got a flex spot open. I got Shotty B right there. We just got done with our victory laps from last week after he scored 17 fantasy points. PPR wide receiver 18. Some of you guys are probably still out of breath from that. But we got to move on. We got to move forward. This is our manifest destiny of Rashod Bateman. And we got the Packers this week. The Ravens are at home. 43.5 over under. So that screams that this could be a low-scoring, slow-paced game, which does not seem optimal for Rashod Bateman, which probably could be. That is in the cards. I guarantee you that is in the probabilities. But what is also in the probabilities is the Packers just being able to move the ball, getting up quick, forcing the Ravens' hand to use their passing game, to use their passing attack, to operate a little bit quicker. Kind of like last week against the Browns when they were down, and then they had to target Shotty B when they didn't really want to, because usually in the start of games, they try to stay away from him. One thing they're probably going to start recognizing, hey, things look good when we start targeting Rashod Bateman. Maybe we should use him. He's a good player. Maybe we should throw the ball his way a few times. Maybe we should dial some stuff up for him. Maybe we should work him in, get him more involved. That's going to happen. That's going to happen because when it comes to his time to produce, he does. He makes big plays happen. We saw it last week. We saw it against the Dolphins. We saw it a few other times. He made some one-handed catches. He had a good catch last week. It's just a snowball effect, and eventually it's going to be undeniable. And we're still waiting for him to get his first touchdown of the season. And if the Ravens is consistently passing the ball in this game, if they get behind, which is a good chance, there's a good chance. They're a 4.5-point underdogs. I can see the Packers beating them by more than 4.5 points due to the Ravens' inconsistencies on the offense, their inability to consistently score points. And the Packers, they're not perfect, but they can dial it up sometimes. So this could be a game where it could get a little bit out of hand, and the Ravens has to keep it moving through the air. And honestly, during the start of the season, when they built up their record, they were throwing it deep a lot more. They're using the air attack. They were a little bit faster paced, and they looked a lot better. They may want to go back to that if they look at what happened during the start season versus now. But Shotty B is going to eventually get his, and if this game script falls on its head and the Packers come out with a lead, forces the Ravens' hand to move the ball, and Shotty B gets a 20% target share like he did last week, like he did on the previous weeks outside those duds, then we could see him produce in the box score. What we really want is for him to get that first touchdown. He gets that first touchdown, a couple catches. That's a wide receiver 1 week, high-end wide receiver 2 week, easy. I look for him to have a good finish to the season, unless the Ravens tank even more, but they're fighting for the playoffs. They're fighting to keep this record good. They're fighting to go into the playoffs at a good state, and they have a weapon here that they're realizing when the chips are down comes in big for them, and they're like, maybe I should use that weapon in the first quarter and all throughout the game. That's going to eventually happen. It's going to eventually happen. He's going to get his, because I don't see how he doesn't. He keeps coming in every single week, except for that week against the Steelers where he didn't get targeted, where he didn't catch any passes, and blows up. Should you start Rashod Bateman? That's everyone's question. Well, here it is. If you do not have many options for your flex, and if you need to take a gamble on somebody, and you want to gamble on talent, a gamble's a gamble. It's a 50-50 highway here. There's a chance that he could bust out due to the Ravens, not him. Due to the Ravens not targeting him, due to the game script going bad, it being a low-scoring game, the Ravens were able to hold the Packers off from scoring, and they were able to run the ball, control the clock, what they want to do. If the game script breaks, Packers get a lead, Ravens are forced to pass the ball a lot, a la using Rashod Bateman more when the chips are down, then he could become at least a good wide receiver too. We've seen it. We've seen it twice this year. We've seen him produce double-digit fantasy points multiple times this year, even in these low-scoring events. You got to understand that he's been scoring fantasy points in these weird game scripts. He hasn't really played on a team that had any blow-up games, or he hasn't been in a game with many blow-up games. This could be a game that works towards his favor, especially if he gets any of those red zone targets, if he scores his first touchdown, which is what we would be gambling on in this situation, and he is due for this, considering he's getting around 20% of the targets every game. I think he's got a 17-18% target share on the year due to those low target games forcing it down. But mainly, if you're looking from game to game, usually he's around 20% or so. And if he's continuously getting those targets and the game script falls on its head, the odds of him getting his first touchdown continuously to increase, because eventually it's just going to happen. But would I start Rashod Bateman? I would start him if I didn't have any other options, and I needed to take the gamble on the upside because I'm in the playoffs, and it's not like I'm playing those skank teams in my league, and I gotta make it count. I gotta gamble a little bit. Rashod Bateman's a guy I can gamble on because I know the talent's there. I know eventually he's gonna get his, and it could be this week, could be next week, but I got him on my roster. Now might be the time, so I might want to use him, but there's also a downside, there's also a risk, but I know that risk going in, and I'm willing to accept it because I'm trying to win. I'm not trying to just skate by. I'm trying to win this game this week so I can get in the next round of the playoffs, just like everybody else in your league. And that's how I would play Rashod Bateman this week. If you're good at your roster, if you got plenty of players to insert your lineup, I wouldn't get too frisky with it. I would just do what you normally do. But if you got a hole at flex, hole at wide receiver, try him out, see if he can help you out, take that gamble, see if it can benefit you. But that's all I got for you today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. It is right here. Tap that for me one time, and I'll catch ya next time.